Hello, good evening, everybody. And sorry, folks, I'm just looking for, as a host, I've never been the host of these meetings. I think we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance possibly, and then move on from there. I don't have a flag icon. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sue, would you like to take attendance, or would you like me to do it?
I was just gonna, no, I'll take care of it. Okay, the first thing we'll do is do the attendance. Mayor Levin.
Present.
Trustee White.
Present.
Trustee Fritchie.
I am present.
Trustee Omar.
Present.
And Trustee Quezada.
Present.
Thank you. Rika.
We're going to announcements.
Yes, the first thing we have is
I'm having problems with all of my technology here from home today. I'm trying to actually get onto the agenda. Sorry about that, folks.
That's okay. So mayor and trustee announcements, Rika.
Right. So folks, can we go around the room? Does anybody have announcements?
I can start. Today we're starting our meeting in a really tough time, seeing what's happening in our nation's capital. It's truly a disgrace and really very, very sad. Nevertheless, we continue to do our work. We know what we stand for, and it is not that. And so it is with a lot of gratitude that I look to better days. And thankfully, those better days are going to be led by our new mayor, Mayor Rika Levin. I've had the pleasure to work with Rika over the course of the last year, and I'm really excited about that. And so want to congratulate her on taking up that role. Also, Deputy Mayor Manuel Quezada. Congratulations to you as our longest standing serving public official on the board. Your historical knowledge of our work is without parallel. And so really, truly grateful for you. And our newest trustee, Dana White. I've been the new kid on the block along with Trustee Fritchie for the first year. And now we're transitioning to our sophomore year. Welcome to the board. I know that you're gonna have a lot to offer and really excited about that. And so I'm grateful for the work that went into the inauguration recently on New Year's Day. Thank you to Karen and Maddie and Jamie and so many folks that helped put that together. It was really smooth and allowed a lot of folks in our community to celebrate all of the new members representing us. And so it is despite the darkness, not only of this day, but also the pandemic and everything else going on, that I look toward what 2021 brings, which is a lot of promise, a lot of hope for better days. And I think we have the right people in the right places to get that work done, from Chief Sylvester all the way around to Corporation Counsel, Stuart Gahan, and everyone else. I don't want to start naming everyone now, but that's one of the things that really fills me with hope, is that we have the right people in the right places. So I'm grateful to be here and excited to get started with the work.
Other trustees?
We'll go next, if I may. I want to thank everyone that, at first, I want to say Happy New Year for everyone. This is definitely 2021 has become a little bit of a norm for us, obviously, through the Zoom. I think technology is great. I do miss the personal interaction. Hopefully, this will, hopefully being hopeful, will get a bright light at the end of the tunnel, sure, and hopefully that'll be soon. I don't want to repeat what Omar said, but I definitely wanted. I'm humble and grateful to be here with everyone here. That is, as was stated, it was a great team. It's been a great team for several years now. And coming to 2021 and a lot of the interactions and a lot of the things that we are working on it, I'm very excited to see a lot of the progress moving forward with this. So just keep. I want to encourage the public to send emails to contact us. We want to hear from you. For anything, for any comment that you have, positive, negative ideas, different implementations that you guys will think will be appropriate. That's what we are here for. We are here as to serve the people. We are servants of the public. That's what I consider myself to be as an elected official. With that said, again, just please wear a mask, wash your hands, keep your distance, keep us safe, keep yourself safe. The pandemic is still here with us. And what we can do is just be careful. By not wearing a mask, you're not helping the situation. Please help us to help the public safety of everyone here in the village and everywhere that you go. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Manny. Anybody else have something that they want to have for announcements?
Yeah, I really don't have any announcements. I just want to, first of all, wish everybody a Happy New Year. I'm going to echo the comments of Omar and Manny. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, and congratulate everybody. Please be safe, and I'm ready to get working this year. So let's hit the ground running.
Okay. Thank you all. Dana, welcome.
Last but not least.
Actually, I go last. So second to last.
Okay, second to last. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. And, I've been in a lot of these meetings in other capacities. First time on the dais, as it were, virtual dais. So I'm looking forward to working on the behalf of everyone of the Village of Ossining and working with everybody here. And hopefully we will make 2021 a better year than it started out. Today was disconcerting, and I'm proud of Ossining. We can talk things through, and I just want to make sure those lines of communication stay open. So that's it.
Great. Thank you, Dana. I didn't cut you off, did I?
Nope.
You're good? Okay, thanks. So welcome. Happy 2021. I was on a number of calls today, and all of a sudden everything got interrupted with are you seeing what's going on in Washington? And I want to echo everyone's words. I find it amazingly upsetting, but aside from my personal values and how I value democracy, I'll tell you that we live in a community because we are locally elected, and I want to stay in that lane. We live in a community where there are lots of people with lots of stories that go back over a century and go back to last month, really, that have left countries where first steps went from anarchy to dictatorship, and people had to leave countries, and you can go through the ABCs of the alphabet and name lots and lots of countries. It is very, very sad when foundations of governments, when there are attempts to destroy the foundations, not just pieces of it, but its actual foundation. And the transfer from one elected official at local levels, state levels, national levels is very disheartening. And I am especially sad about blood that was shed today, the police officers that were hurt. I don't know if more have died. I've been on Zoom calls, but at least that I've heard one person. So to Trustee Lopez's words, this actually for me hits home right here where we live, because there are lots of people that can give you testimony from their parents, their grandparents, themselves about what happens in countries where it starts out with something small and really becomes something very serious. So we have to be super mindful. We have to make sure we set model for the kids, teach this stuff in school, because this is like sort of civics 101. So it is a sad day on one hand. On the other hand, for many of us sitting here, where it is a peaceful transfer, thanks to a lot of people on staff who transfer from, midnight of one day to noon of the next, everything quietly, without any, concerns and worries. I certainly didn't have any. And truthfully, with a lot of help from our own staff here in the village, cooperation by town, to really make those of us that are new to our specific positions not even feel it. That's how smoothly it all goes. And I appreciate all of that. It shows you what happens when it doesn't go smoothly, to be honest with you. There's always a lesson and you always learn something new. I'm super excited. I will not repeat, what I put in the mayor's update that went out Tuesday. It's going to go out Tuesday. No need to repeat. It's all online thanks to our wonderful website. But I do want to tell you that I'm really looking forward to a team that I've worked with for the past year. Dana and I have known each other, so not new to me. Really super excited about getting some things done. My goal is really simple. I just want to be a good mayor. That's my goal for 2021. It doesn't go deeper and farther than that. This is an organizational meeting. I will save my platform and a lot of other things for next week. For this week, I want to keep it tight and really explain that this is a lot of organizational discussions, appointments, et cetera, that we're going to go through. I know that Sue's here and Martha, so I'm assuming they're going to take turns in the, I don't know, Sue, what is it, 20 pages? I have no idea. I didn't count.
Oh, don't worry. We know how to cut it down.
For the public and for anybody that looks at this, and the exciting video that we will have from this, and people do look because they want to see who's who and what's what. That's really a lot of the focus of this meeting. To Manny's point, BOT at Village of Ossining. You can go on the website and click any of our names to reach us. Always a pleasure to speak with our constituents. We can do it as a group. We do it individually. We really do like each other. We will speak on your behalf to the others if you want us to. Feel free to call one of us. You don't have to speak to all 5 of us. We're all individuals in this, but we also function as a group. So welcome to 2021. I wish everyone on this call and listening and in our community and beyond a much better year than 2020. I'm going to assume today didn't happen because I'm not excited about today's being a great day for us, but we're going to move forward for a better 21. And with that, I think we can move on to what looks to me like the next on the agenda is mayor's appointments. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I've only got 2 on here for right now before we go to liaisons.
Well, you have liaisons. You
Oh, I
have
know.
2 and then your liaison. Yeah.
I got it. So as was said, usually we announce a deputy mayor at this point. We don't announce it on the 1st to the public, but it was nice that it was announced. It made it a bigger announcement. But welcome, Deputy Mayor Manuel Quezada. You were one of the first people I met. You interviewed me, and you have, simply put, earned this honor, but I think it's also just a lot of work. It wasn't for me. I had it really easy because there was a mayor that really did a lot on her own, but lucky you, Manny, not my management style, so you will be busy. So welcome to that. Village historian will continue to be Joyce Sharrock Cole. And do I go right into liaisons, boards and committees, Stuart?
Yes, Mayor.
You may, ma'am.
Okay. And see if I get it all right. We made a couple little changes, so let me see if I get it right. Civilian Police Complaint Review Board for the liaisons is Omar Lopez. Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee is Manuel Quezada and Omar Lopez together. I think that's also a continuation. Downtown Development Fund Council, Dana White, welcome. I enjoyed it. Great group. So thank you for wanting to do this. So the public knows all the trustees were asked. None of them are going to be surprised by this. There were a couple places where more than one person wanted it, but we we worked through it, and so we're announcing it today. Environmental Advisory Council, Dana White, another place that I very much enjoyed, and Dana will bring her own deep knowledge of the community to that. Historic Preservation Commission, Manuel Quezada, Landlord-Tenant Relations Council, Manuel Quezada, Mid-Hudson Ambulance District, Bob Fritchie is stepping up to that. I think it's a continuation. Ossining Arts Project, Dana White. Ossining Fire Department is Bob Fritchie, a longtime person involved. I apologize, Bob, I forgot your president. I forgot, though, the official title that you have for the state level. What is that?
Presently the president of Westchester County Volunteer Firemen's Association, and I'm also director with the Hudson Valley Volunteer Firemen's Association.
So we look forward to really bringing that together to benefit all of Ossining. I think that'll be great. Recreation Advisory Board, or as you've all heard me call it incorrectly, Parks and Rec, because I like the show on TV, but essentially Recreation Advisory Board, Manuel Quezada. Sing Sing Prison Museum, Dana White, who has sat on the board, and I think you resigned your position quite a while ago. And then we think that'll be a great connection to it. We have a position, mayors can announce liaisons for many different things, and we have over the years had liaisons to many different organizations or committees, etc. But what we call the DPW site, which is what we refer to the waterfront property, which is a very big multi-year initiative regarding housing. It is trustee Omar Lopez is going to be liaison for that. The police reinvention will be myself and Omar Lopez. It was Victoria Garrity in her role as mayor, so it's a mayor and a trustee assigned to that. And I'm trying to see if I have forgot anything for tonight, and I'm looking at Stuart to see if I have left anything off my list.
You have not, Mayor, at this point, no.
Okay, at this point. So far I'm doing okay.
You bet.
Okay, so, sorry.
No, I just want to, sorry, Mayor, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So.
You didn't. Did I forget something, Sue?
No, I just want to start the meeting.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
You're on.
Organizational meeting, annual resolutions. Board of Trustees, meeting schedule, regular meetings. Resolved that the Board of Trustees for the Village of Ossining will hold regular meetings of the Village Board as set forth in the schedule below for the year 2021 at 7:30 p.m. until further notice via video conferencing pursuant with the Governor's Executive Order 202.1 dated March 12, 2020, which executive order says substantially has been constantly extended. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
There's a list, there'll be a list of all of the meetings on the, sorry, thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay. There'll be a list of all of the meetings on the bulletin board by the clerk's office. So if you're in the building, that's the only building the public, the only office the public can go to right now. And it will be on the web. Board of Trustees meeting schedule work sessions. Resolved that the Board of Trustees for the Village of Ossining will hold work sessions for the Board of Trustees set forth on the schedule below for the year 2021 at 7:30 p.m. until further notice via video conferencing pursuant with the Governor's Executive Order 202.1 dated March 12, 2020. And it has been substantially extended. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Madam Clerk, I have a question.
Sure.
On in liaisons to boards and committees, I'm looking on the agenda that's on the website, and it doesn't completely align with what the mayor said. So when we pass, will that be corrected ultimately?
Yes,
Yes.
it will be in the minutes. That's Martha's here doing the minutes with you.
Yes,
So it
no,
will be
don't
in
worry
the-
about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm sure that the mayor will make sure we have the correct list. So we'll check it with her before too.
Anything, I mean, seriously, it's being recorded. Omar, anything that I need to know about? Is it somebody that I just left off or a different person?
No, so like the Historic Preservation Commission has a blank, and Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee has you on it, like that.
Right.
Okay.
That was changed since, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Official newspaper, the Gazette. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby designates the Gazette as the official newspaper for the Village of Ossining for 2021, and the journal news as necessary. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Appointment of Wetlands consultants. Whereas the local law 7-2020, effective January 1st, 2021, revised chapter 149 freshwater wetlands for the Village of Ossining Code. And whereas the local law identified the wetlands consultant who would assist village staff and the village's land use boards regarding the effect of certain development proposals in the village's wetlands, it is therefore be it resolved that Kender Sessions, 500 Main Street, Armont, New York, 10504, is retained by the village's wetland consultant for the period of January 1, 2021 to March 31st, 2021, in accordance with the letter date agreement dated November 16th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Just let the record reflect that's Kellard Sessions.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Sorry, Kellard. Yeah, sorry, I apologize.
Got a second?
And all in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Have everybody raise their hands. Mileage allowance. Resolved that whenever it shall be appropriate to compensate village officials and/or village employees for mileage, they should be reimbursed at a rate of 56 cents per mile to be paid upon claim voucher after audit and approval in accordance with the IRS standards. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If I can interrupt for 1 second, I'm sorry, Sue. The one before this, I just want to put it on record. It's unusual, but I want to point it out that Kellard Sessions for the wetland consulting is a 3-month date. It's not a year, because we went through a lot of wetland discussions, public meetings, etc., and we needed a wetlands consultant. So we need to get back to this rather quickly and decide whether they are in fact, or put this out to look at other consultants. It's that's why it's only a 3-month. It's I don't want to call it placeholder. It's not fair to the consultants, but in essence, at least from my perspective, that's how we're looking at it for now.
Well, that's, and the resolution stated it was a 3-month.
Yeah,
right?
and I'm pointing it out to the public that's
Okay.
paying attention. I noticed that Kate from the AC is on here. I just want to make sure that there's an understanding of that.
All right. Great. So we did mileage allowance.
Correct.
Retaining bond counsel. Resolved upon recommendation of the village treasurer and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby retains the firm of Orrick, Harrington, and Stutcliffe, LLP, 666 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York, 10103-001, to serve as bond counsel effective in accordance with the letter dated December 21st, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Retaining financial advisor. Resolved that upon recommendation of the village treasurer, the Board of Trustees for the Village of Ossining hereby retains the firm of Capital Markets Advisors, LLC, 11 Grace Avenue, Suite 308, Great Neck, New York, 11021, to provide financial advisory services as it pertains to the assurance of village indebtedness effective immediately in accordance with the proposal dated December 15th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Appointment, special counsel for litigation matters. Resolved that upon recommendation of Corporation Counsel, the Village of Ossining Trustees hereby retains the firm of Hodge, Wells & Burke, LLP, 55 Church Street, Suite 211, White Plains, New York, 10601, as a special counsel for litigation matters in accordance with the engagement letter dated December 16th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
I apologize if my PC is slower than you're responding faster, so I apologize. Appointment for special.
We
Excuse
haven't
me?
had a vote
We had
yet.
a second, we have to
Oh,
vote.
sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Appointment for special counsel for land use matters. Resolved that upon recommendation of the Corporation Counsel, the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees hereby retains the firm of McCullen, Goldberger, and Stout, 1311 Mamaroneck Avenue, Suite 340, White Plains, New York, 10605, to serve as special counsel on land use matters in accordance with the engagement letter dated November 1, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Appointment for the village treasurer. Resolved that pursuant with section C2-8 of the village charter, the Board of Trustees ratifies the appointment of by the village manager of Dale Brennan as the position of treasurer for the term commencing January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2023. And be it further resolved that the village treasurer's salary will be $169,125. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. If I may just stop here, we usually ask for the board to say something.
No,
No. I don't think we need to do that through all of this. It'll just elongate unnecessarily. I just wanted to welcome you, Dale. I don't see her in my gallery. Oh, there she is. Hi, Dale. I wanted to welcome you. I can't say that you're new, but it is a new year, and I think it's your first full year of being at the full title of treasurer. I've learned a lot from you. Real pleasure. I think that there was unanimity. We wish you lots of luck in this position, and that you keep educating all of us and keep us on the straight and narrow, as they say. So thank you.
Great. And I do apologize, but normally during the reorg part of the meeting, I don't go back out to the board. Okay. All right. So just one.
Yep.
Okay. Finance adoption of investment policy. Whereas pursuant with the General Municipal Law, Section 39, local governments in the state of New York, including villages, are required to adopt a comprehensive written investment policy. And whereas local governments are required to review their investment policy on an annual basis, whereas the Village of Ossining has reviewed the policy since adoption in 1993, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees does hereby approve and adopt the following investment policy for the Village of Ossining, subject to the approval of Corporation Counsel. And again, remember, all details will be posted online, and you can get it. You can see them in paper on the bulletin board in the clerk's office. So we won't continue that. So, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. We can go a couple pages now. Finance.
We'll be on page 8. Page 8's everybody following the agenda.
Yeah. Finance debt management policy. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby adopts the debt management policy as follows. The treasurer will monitor the debt portfolio annually for refinancing opportunities through service of the financial advisor. This can be done in connection with continuing disclosure process. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Finance, adoption of the procurement policy. Whereas Section 104B of the General Municipal Law requires that the governing body of every municipality is adopted a procurement policy for all goods and services which are not required by law to be publicly bid. And whereas comments have been solicited from all offices of the Village of Austin involved in the procurement policy, and therefore be it resolved that the Village of Austin does hereby adopt the following procurement policy, which is intended to apply to all goods and services that are not required by law to be publicly bid. And again, the list will be on the web and on the bulletin board in the clerk's office. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What page is it, Martha?
We are on page 11, Resolution N.
N. Village of Austin financial goals and policies. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves and adopts the following financial goals and policies for the Village of Austin. And do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again, as I said before, they're posted on the board and on the webpage. I've washed my hands. Wait for the next one. I have this in paper tonight, so I apologize.
We are on page 18, Resolution O.
Personnel, management benefit plan, whereas the Village of Austin has heretofore historically provided and does currently provide certain employee benefits for elected officials, managers, and appointed personnel. And whereas the Village desires to ratify and reaffirm the benefits that have been and will continue to be provided to elected officials, managers, and appointed personnel, it is therefore be it resolved that in accordance with the past practice, the Village of Austin will continue to provide benefits for elected officials, managers, and appointed personnel as follows, and then their benefit plan again is available online or will be on the clerk's office. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I believe that concludes. I'd like to adjourn out of the organizational meeting.
If I may,
Hold on.
Yes.
if I may,
Can I skip something?
I have a question, if I may, Stuart.
Yes.
So I was looking at the agenda from last year, and I had a question for you in regards to the reimbursements of the village employee, public officers, and elected officials business expense policy. Is that usually, how often do we do that? I thought it was part of the reorganization meeting portion as well.
We have not put that in at this point, Trustee Quezada. There were a number of discussions last year about revising that particular policy. There were a number of drafts. My expectation is to come back to the board probably within the next 1 to 2 meetings with revisions to that so that it can be consistent with what some board members had suggested. It is not one of the mandatory policies that comes over, but essentially it will carry over from last year at this point until we can get some revisions. There were some changes that were requested by some board members, so therefore I thought it would be best, rather than adopting something and then changing, we can have a discussion at a work session and then it can be adopted.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Now I was just curious to see, and everything I was comparing notes in a way, and I noticed that was missing. So I appreciate you clarifying this for us. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Adjournment from organizational meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And my lovely deputy, Martha, is going to take it from here.
Hey, good evening, everyone. So we're moving on to the mayoral committee appointments. Is there any appointments that Mayor Levin would like to discuss about? Any additional ones? Any additional ones, or have you said all of them already?
No, I've said what I had to at this meeting. I may have some in the future, so I'm holding my my course on that.
Okay. Then moving along, are there any board of trustees and committee appointments at the moment?
In addition to those already stated? Not-
Yeah, no, okay. Then moving along to administrative reports, Village Manager Karen DeTore.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. Good evening, everybody. Congratulations on a new year. Welcome to your new role, Mayor Levin and Trustee White. We are happy to have you. So just a few quick announcements, and then I will also provide appointments for the manager's appointments. But we have some exciting news. We're pleased to announce that starting this week, the village is rolling out the first component of a multi-phase parking reimagination project. Residents, business owners, and local employees who purchase train station and municipal lot permits through the clerk's office were introduced to an online module this December, where dashboard placards or hang tags are no longer required, and all of the information is stored virtually. Our parking enforcement officers are working with handheld scanners to enforce our lots and to check valid and active permits. We're excited to move into the 21st century, and there is more to come. Our next step will be to offer mobile parking application for our metered parking so that residents and visitors will be able to use their cell phone or a quarter to park in Ossining. And this will be particularly helpful during the time where no touch options are preferable and coins can be in short supply. Special thanks to the town clerk and her staff, as well as Corporation of Counsel Kahan, Police Chief Sylvester, Assistant Village Manager Maddie Zahaj, Lieutenant Damiano, Sergeant Donahue, and Sergeant Donahue for their hard work on this exciting initiative. So we're really happy, and I really want to congratulate everybody who worked on this effort. It was a lot of work, but I think good benefits, and we are surely moving into the 21st century. We also had some good news at the very end of 2020 rather. On December 18th, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation announced that 38 projects awarded and announced 38 projects and awarded a combined $1.4 million of funding for tree inventories, education, planting, maintenance, and management plans. Out of 54 applications, only 5 communities in Westchester were chosen, and among them was the village and town of Ossining, with a total combined award of $71,750. So another exciting thing. So the Village of Ossining will embark on a tree planting project. Our component is in the historic downtown at Nelson Park and Nelson Sitting Park, the 2 largest green spaces in the village and the most frequently used recreation areas. Both parks have seen a lot of deforestation through the years as trees were damaged by weather and disease, and they've really not been replaced. These are properties that are, or parks that are bordered by major roadways and heavy traffic. And without a lot of shady trees, the parks become less inviting. This is a way that we can put more trees in, get more families into the parks, and beginning in the spring of 2021, using $38,000 of this funding and an in-kind match provided by staff hours, and a tree plan inclusive of native species will be created with the help of an arborist. The village's Parks Department will then be instructed in the specific care necessary for each species before planting, and the neighborhood surrounding both the parks, which is typically a densely populated urban area, will have a refreshing green space. We're really happy about this. This will help reduce the heat island effect that sometimes comes when you don't have a lot of green space, and we are excited for the neighborhood. So good news there.
If I may, are you going to your next thing now?
I was, but I can take questions.
Comments, observation. I know the EAC did work last year on, and they did research state level, all sorts of different levels of the native plants and what to use that they now recommend on all development. I know you're going to use that, an opportunity to also label those that we don't do, because I saw in the write-up that there is a lot of learning capacity. So if we could spend a little bit of that money to also name what we're doing, because we're trying to encourage people, even single homeowners, developers, but two family, three family, to stop using things that are harmful to our environment, but rather helpful. And predatory plants actually are all over the place. And it's really bad for your neighbor's plants if you plant the wrong thing in your property, or if a person with two families. So a little education piece, if we could use that money as we plant them, would be super great. We're getting closer to the date. There was a discussion with you, I don't know, about 9-10 months, using April or something around April to create a space there. And I don't know if we can use it for that, with maybe a park bench and maybe some greenery in honor of all those that have died from COVID-19. In Ossining, we don't always get to know who exactly died. Did they have a heart attack due to COVID-19? Was it actually COVID? You don't get that, as I have learned from our village clerk. You don't necessarily always get that in the statements that you get from the medical profession. So just some memorial that a person can maybe take a minute, who's lost a family, sit on that bench under a couple of really cool trees, would be helpful if that can come to fruition, and we can do the unveiling, hopefully publicly. Hopefully we'll be out again in April. So if we can put that on our to-do list, that would be very much appreciated as well.
Sounds great.
More of a reminder while we're going through this, and a little heads up to the community to have something to maybe look forward to a little bit. That would be great.
I have noted it.
Thank you.
And that's a great idea. I'm glad that we have that opportunity. Now moving on to manager appointments for our land use boards. I am very pleased to be appointing the following for the Architectural Board of Review and Planning Board. Seth Roy will be assuming the role of chair, replacing Mike Aldati, who has served the planning board for many years. And while we are very sorry to see him go, we know that Seth will take on the responsibility and carry through with excellent work that the planning board is doing. This year, we're also incorporating a vice chair on the planning board, and Michael Aronson will be assuming that role. Eric Talbot, who was very involved this year as an alternate, has now been appointed as a full member. And Nina Aaron, who was serving as an alternate for the Zoning Board of Appeals, is now a member of the planning board as filling Jeff Gasparo's seat. So those are the appointments so thus far for the planning board. For Zoning Board of Appeals, we are appointing Mark Borsny, I'm sorry about that, as an alternate, filling Nina Aaron's term, and we are reappointing Kevin Griffith to another term. I'm also reappointing Joyce Sharrock to the Historic Preservation Committee. These are the this time. And I just...
We're losing you, Karen. When you're moving to,
oh, sorry about that. So did you get all those appointments?
Okay. We did. I did. Okay. I mean, I think everybody did. But then you started moving
Sorry.
around.
And then I just want to add too that the Westchester Medical Center is doing testing at the community center on Fridays from 9 to 3. The number to call, they should be doing, we know week to week, but I think they will be doing Fridays for the foreseeable future. The number to call is 914-202-4530. You can also get an appointment online at westchestermedicalcenter.org, and there's actually a little category for the Ossining mobile unit, which is what we're doing at the recreation center. And we'll keep you posted if those dates change, but right now we do have testing available at that site. Thank you.
Did you, I'm sorry, maybe I should have done in my announcements. Did you want to mention anything about the new app from the state of New York, about those that recently came out? Because I thought that has also come out so that folks can go on the government website. I guess I'll do it, the government website. They came out with an app recently because there are many questions of like, when can I go get, when can I go get the shots? My doctors are all getting it, but when is my category, whatever those, and how's that determined and all that? And I think doctors' offices and hospitals have been bombarded by phone calls. But 2 days ago, New York State did put out an app, and I think we're going to put that out on our website and in press releases. I thought it was coming out today, but maybe it'll be later in the week. Literally just came out, so I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. But there is an app now so that you can go on and see when it's sort of your turn to go get the vaccinations, and if there are problems, where to call, etc. Kudos to the state of New York for doing that and for solving a problem and maybe even putting a plan, and maybe even other states and governments around the country will be doing that as well. That would be helpful. So do you know when that information is coming out? I don't have it in front of me, the app. I looked at it.
The state, Mayor, the app is up. It asks you basically 4 questions, and unless you are essentially in a let's say a group health facility or something like that, you're going to answer both questions no, and it's going to come back and say you are not scheduled, you are not in the groups to have the test at this time. That's all it's going to say. They do take your address. They ask you either do you want to be contacted by text or by cell phone. You can give both numbers, both information, and then they will they'll put you into the database. But at this point, since they're still on group 1A, they do not have any other information beyond that.
Right. But the beautiful thing is they've set up the platform. Therefore, I'm only going to imagine that the platform is set up. That means all I have to do is if it were me, and it is, I'm going to go on and make sure my name is on there. And when the right time comes, I can just keep refreshing rather than trying to reach my doctor, who's not so easy to reach right now. So I think for the public, it'll be great to know that it's there. And it'll be populated appropriately. I have faith in it. So that,
and your doctor will not be the provider who's going to be giving you the injection anyway.
I know, but my doctor tells me that that's where everybody's calling because they
know
something.
The point is
they don't,
because it's going to be all run through the Westchester Medical Center.
Right, and just to clarify, the right now we are doing testing, not immunizations on Fridays at the community. Just to make that distinction, because we're getting calls. People are obviously eager to get immunizations. The governor has announced that he is looking for innovative ways to make sure that they can disperse these immunizations as quickly as possible, including use of community centers. So if we get any information on being able to provide immunizations, we will be sure to get that information out as soon as possible.
Thank you. We're going on. Madam Clerk, are we going on to Police Chief Kevin Sylvester?
No, it's Corporation Counsel Stuart Kahan.
Sorry, you're right.
Okay.
Sorry, Stuart.
That's okay. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Trustee White, it is a pleasure. And good evening to Mayor Levin and the other members of the board. 2020 was a very busy year. I think we are now up to 89 executive orders from the governor relating specifically to the state of emergency. And it is anticipated that that state of emergency will continue. The ability to conduct these meetings remotely has been extended till right now, the 29th of January. And it is anticipated that that will continue to be extended on 30-day calendars going at least into late spring, if not summer. 2021 certainly promises to be just as busy in many other ways. We obviously have the comprehensive plan. We have zoning text changes that are going to be coming through. Other local laws, some of which were discussed at the end of 2020. The Wetlands Ordinance, which took a great deal of heavy lifting, particularly by our planner Jaime Martinez and others in the village, is now in full force and effect. The board recently closed the public hearing with regard to the special events local law, which last year was local law 8 of 2020. It will most likely be local law 1 of 2021. And I know that there will be some discussion about policies and fees at next week's work session, but we look forward to that. And again, that was with great work from project manager Jamie Hoffman and rec superintendent Bill Garrison to really put that together. And from the Corporation Council's perspective, we are here to serve the village board, board members, as well as the various boards and commissions that are out there. We also, as you know, have our deputy who does a great deal of work on the court. The courts are pretty much closed at this point, except for emergency situations. But we have been told that when they do resume operations, we will be able to do our appearances remotely. So that is something that is pleasing to all of us here. And other than that, as I said, it's been a very busy year, both from the village and from the state level, with a lot of different legislation passed, much of it relating to COVID, a lot of it dealing with landlord-tenant issues. And I've given a memo to the board as well as to the Landlord-Tenant Relations Council on those changes, because they do impact virtually every renter and landlord in the village. And so that's something that is there. And if anyone obviously has questions, they can clearly get in touch with the Corp Counsel by either email or phone, and virtually at any time of the day, as many of you probably know. So thank you, and I look forward to 2021.
Thank you, Stuart. Police Chief Kevin Sylvester.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the board. Not as much of a reset for the police department. Our operations are continuous and they don't stop over New Year's. Been a busy time for us. When we met last, I talked about a serious call on James Street with a attempted robbery with a gun where one person ended up dead. Troubling to report, we've had another gun incident in the same neighborhood with shots fired on Everett Avenue at Spring Street a couple of weeks back. Our department continues to investigate that, and we're thankful for those residents that were willing to speak with us, and we're encouraging anybody else that's seen this to contact detectives at 941-4099. You know, in terms of law enforcement, this is something that people should take seriously, not only because it's violence in a neighborhood and violence near a school, but because this is something that will not stop with an arrest. This is something that's going to require a community to stand up and say that we will not tolerate this in our neighborhoods. So we're looking forward to using this as an opportunity to make a statement, not only from the police department, but from the community as a whole, that we're not going to allow for violence in our neighborhoods, whether they're near a school or away from them. On the positive note, our department's been busy with what outreach we can do. The end of last month, not only did we participate in the menorah lighting, but we also had a visit from Santa Claus for our candy cane run. So a nice job by Santa Claus himself and the officers who came in. You know, I know there's been some discussion at times about cops doing work and whether it's valid and if they're paid for things. We don't announce to people that on most of our community outreach, our officers work for free. This is in fact a place of employment and people do get paid to come here. However, the vast majority of the good work that our officers do is for absolutely no money. And, you know, they really should be commended, those folks that you see coming in on Saturdays and weekends and dressing up in costumes and hosting sporting events and movies and all the things that really are not the business of the police department, but folks do anyway. So very, very proud to work with some incredibly dedicated, creative, and very human people that work here. Friday, we'll have something new coming. I'm not telling, but you can all watch on Friday and we'll break it on Facebook probably. But something big coming from the police department. Looking forward to it. This will not be my project. It's my staff, and we're going to give them a little bit of space to breathe and let them try something new. So something new coming Friday. Stay tuned. See.
Thank you, Chief. I know you didn't say costumes because, you know, we know Santa's escorted by the police.
No, there was an elf on this one, and for the last detail, they dressed up as, on Halloween, they had costumes, and that was also, again, there are days that these folks come in completely for free. It's good stuff.
No, it is great. And, you know, a lot of us, it's a tightly knit community, and it's only 3 and something square miles. So it's really like joyful to hear that in the middle of winter. All the stuff that goes on outside that they bring to us. So thank your entire staff, and we're very grateful for their time. Next on our agenda
Is organization announcements. Is there anybody here who would like to make an organizational announcement?
Okay, I'm looking to see. I'm not seeing anyone. I hope I'm not the only one hosting. My first time on this system. Let's see.
No one has their hands up.
Yeah, I don't see anybody. Okay.
Okay, moving along to village board resolutions. Approval of minutes, December 16th, 2020. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby approves the minutes of the December 16th, 2020 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Anybody have any comments on it? Because I know that Victoria Garrity had a couple. Martha,
Those were all put in.
everything was put in. Okay,
Everything was in.
thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Martha,
Okay.
would you reflect, I know that Trustee White voted, but since she was not on the board at that time, can we treat that as basically an abstain?
Sure.
Sorry, Dana, I apologize. Also, Martha, do we usually ask the public if they have any comments on the resolutions before we actually start going through the resolutions?
Yes, my apologies. Is there anybody here from the public who would like to address the board on any of the resolutions this evening? Going once, twice, 3 times. Okay. Approval of voucher detail, January 6, 2021. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby approves the voucher detail report dated January 6, 2021, and the amount of $8,262,851.32. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Anyone on board? Village clerk?
Okay, all those in favor?
Deputy clerk, sorry.
Aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Okay. Referral of proposed zoning map amendment to the planning board for 2 Sherman Place, whereas pursuant to section 270-59 of the Village of Austin Code, the Board of Trustees acknowledges receipt with the required filing fee of the petition from 2 Sherman Place LLC to amend the zoning map to change the zoning district for the property from the current single family S-75 to a neighborhood center NC-2. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to section 270-59 of the Village of Austin Code, the Board of Trustees refers to the Village's Planning Board for aforementioned petition, and be it further resolved that the Village's Planning Board shall issue its report on the proposed map change to the Board of Trustees within 62 days of that referral, and that pursuant to section 270-59A2, the Planning Board shall make inquiry and determination concerning the following items. A, whether the uses permitted by the proposed change would appropriate in the area concerned. B, whether adequate public school facilities and other public facilities and services, including roads, exist or can reasonably be expected to be created to serve the needs of any additional dwellings or other uses likely to be constructed as part of the change. C, whether the proposed change is in accord with any existing or proposed plans in the vicinity. And D, the effect of the proposed amendment upon the growth of the village as envisioned by the comprehensive plan and local waterfront revitalization program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second.
Anybody on the board?
Yeah, just a quick question, Stuart. This is just a referral. We're accepting this to go to the planning board, correct?
That's correct, Trustee. Rich. That's all it is.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, Stuart, refresh my memory again. Usually something like this, do we have to have as an item in a work session to discuss exactly what they're looking for? I know what the resolution says, but usually don't we have a little bit of time and actually, because automatically this is going to go to, I'm assuming this application was already in front of the planning board,
No,
right?
it has not been.
It has not.
It's
not.
referred to the planning board, and then they will hold a hearing on that. They will give you a recommendation, then it comes back to you. There can be a work session and then a public hearing on the decision. So this has not been to the planning board yet at all.
Okay.
So if I, correct me if I'm wrong, so the ultimate decision after the referral is up to us.
You are the only board that can change the zoning code,
Okay, thank you.
or in this case, the zoning map.
Okay, anybody else? Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? No, okay. Resolution authorizing the superintendent of the Recreation and Parks Department to accept as a donation a Peter Vitale billiard pool table with accessories. Resolved that the superintendent of the Village of Austin Recreation and Parks Department is authorized to accept from Andrew Wax, Briarcliff Manor, New York, a donation of a Peter Vitale billiard pool table with accessories for use at the Recreation Center. And it is further resolved that the Village of Austin Board of Trustees gratefully acknowledges the donation to the Recreation and Parks Department. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Comments on the board?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Authorizing agreement with Creighton Manning Engineering LLP for Route 9 Road Diet Project. Resolved that upon the review by Corporation Counsel, the village manager is authorized to sign an agreement with Creighton Manning Engineering LLP, 145 Main Street, 3rd floor, Austin, New York, 10562, to conduct a road diet study for Route 9 in accord with the proposal dated November 3rd, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Comments from the board?
Yeah, I would just like to say just one quick thing. This is a very exciting endeavor that we're going to be going into, and it's exciting that we have a local engineer that actually stepped up to the plate. They really presented well, and I think Karen, you were on the call too, and I think this is a very positive thing for the village. So I'm excited for this. It's one of my little platform things that I did run on, and it's exciting to see it moving along. So that's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Anybody else?
Yes, if I may, please. So Karen and Stuart, please, if any of you or even Bob, because you guys were on the call, and we know we talked about this last year, a couple of weeks back, I guess. Can you give us a little bit more of an outline in what this means, and obviously how much their proposal is going to be? And I guess whenever we, and I know I have said this in the past, but I'm just going to say it again. When we have a contract with a consultant that is providing services for us, can we double check and make sure that any document that they are producing for the village is actually our document at the end of the day, you know, and especially with engineering forms and things like that, I would like to see, or architectural offices, or anything that had to do with any drawings or schematic designs, any of the original documents. I'm not talking about PDFs, but I'm talking about the CAD files or the rendering programs that they use. I would like the village to actually have, I don't want to say a hard copy, but a hard digital copy of those particular files itself. Because if the village wants to move forward with doing something else, you know, I would like to have the ability to have those as a part of our records, I guess. Besides having PDFs, besides having a nice rendering, you know, that in the contract part. But Karen, if you want to give us a little bit of what this means for us and what, you know, I know the public is aware, but just to give them a recap on 2021, what is this project is actually mean?
This project is part of our efforts to, as we look at comprehensive planning, as we look at parking, as we look at ways of increasing connectivity between Main Street and Croton Avenue, as we look to address some of the issues we have in terms of making our community more sustainable, more walkable, more friendly for businesses. The re-envisioning or redesign of Route 9. We have about a 1 mile section where it's 2 lanes. It's not 2 lanes north or south of that, but we have a 1 mile section. And we've talked about for some time what's called a road diet. So why we would be minimizing, you know, we would take away the lane, so it would be only 1 lane on either side, the way the rest of the road is. We would be able to look at ways to create more public access, parking, different things, and really the study is to look at that. This is something that needs cooperation with the Department of Transportation. This is a state road. We can't do anything without approval from Department of Transportation. When we've talked to them in the past, they, they've expressed interest in addressing some of the issues we have with traffic lights and intersections, but really, the thought is with a plan in place and with their support early on in going forward with this, we can actually effectuate a change more easily with something to react to, something that has community buy-in. And that's really what this project is all about. And we selected Creighton Manning because of their expertise. They did a really good presentation. They had good recommendations, and I think that this really is a great complementary piece to the other work that we're doing. So collectively, we have not only a comprehensive plan, but now we have the ability to effectuate that plan. Because the pieces that have been sort of missing for so long, whether they be parking or transportation issues, will be set in place, and we'll be able to move forward with actionable plans that will allow us to really make sure that we can develop our community the way it's been envisioned through community input on the comprehensive plan.
If I might add to that, I'm always talking about buildings and people. They're not always the same thing. And some people talk about infrastructure and other people talk about all sorts of other stuff. The truth is that the change in Route 9, it wasn't always the way it's structured now. It was created by, lots of studies, and this is the best thing, and lots of experts. My favorite thing is every decade there's a new set of experts, but we live with those experts' decisions for decades. It really divides our community. I don't mean our roads, I mean our people. It divides this community. You try to run across that road. If you don't own a car and you need to get from point A to point B and you need to cross that, not only is it sort of like a five-way intersection, but you're taking your life in your hands. Because people are going at 55 miles an hour. Because it's two lanes. People don't necessarily do that on one lane. They don't do it in Tarrytown because there are stores on the side. People are parallel parking. People complain that people are parallel parking, but I'd rather have the complaint than people going at 55 miles an hour. It really changes also the way people move and how they move across two sides of our village, because it cuts through, unfortunately, our village. It will also affect, I think, commerce, because now people might walk on those sidewalks rather than run across them before the light switches and you don't have enough time to actually cross it. Might connect our community center with other parts, with the library where people can walk more safely. So I am super excited about it. I mean, in addition to what Bob said, what the village manager said, to me, it's fundamentally, the importance of it is about people and the ability of people to be more connected. And one day I will not hear uptown and downtown, I will simply hear that it's one village. And I think this will be amazingly helpful in addition to everything said. So this is a project or initiative we're going to be discussing a lot of. It is true that it's not our road. This will have to be coordinated with Sandy Galiff's office. She's well aware of all this for a number of years. With everybody at the state level. It is like a number of roads in our community. We don't own all of the roads. They belong to county, they belong to state. So, but we have staff and they are very much aware of the desire, and I am totally confident that this is a phenomenal move forward, I think, for all of us. And I am so happy. Thank you, Bob, for mentioning it. Can't always get somebody local, right? You put an RFP out, it's not always, but in this case it is, and good for all of us. Thank you. I don't know if I left something off. Does anybody else have any? I'm looking around. Okay, so thank you for that.
I'm sorry, how much is this project gonna be?
Oh, can't hear you, Karen.
I muted myself. I'm sorry. What was it, Maddie? I'm 120, 19, 100 and.
I believe it's 119.
119. $119,000.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, let's move on.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Opposed? Okay. Authorizing the village manager to sign an intermunicipal agreement with Westchester County relating to an improvement project at the community center. Resolved that upon review by the Corporation Counsel, the village manager is authorized to sign an intermunicipal agreement with Westchester County, contract number C6720U03, to use Community Development Block Grant (CDBG) funds of $125,000 for the replacement of the existing rooftop HVAC system at the Joseph G. Caputo Community Center. And be it further resolved that the Village of Austining, in accord with the intermunicipal agreement, is responsible for all costs above the CDBG contribution of $125,000. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments from the board? Really, this one I'm a little surprised there are no comments from the board, but I'm going to wait 30 more seconds. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay. Fire Department, Washington Hook and Ladder number 2, removal from active roles. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austining hereby removes Andrew Pankin from the active roles of the Austining Fire Department, Washington Hook and Ladder Company number 2. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments from the board?
Just as noted, Madam Mayor, I think Bob, I don't see him in the panel. I think he may have.
Yeah, I think I heard somebody like click out.
Oh. Man, you want to text him or something? See if
Yeah.
so we need to get him back on somehow, or something happened, or he may have just taken a break, or I don't want him to miss any of this if it is not.
The reason why I bring it up is because I wanted, again, I know we have said, I believe.
Oh, there he is.
There's
Bob.
Okay.
Sorry, Manny, go ahead.
No, we were talking about the fire department, and Andrew Pankert was mentioned that he was now being a member of our fire department. Bob, do you want to mention anything in regards to that?
Yeah, I'm sorry I got disconnected here with this lovely internet connection. Yeah, Andrew was a 5-year member of the fire department, my company, Washington Hook and Ladder. He was our sitting foreman or captain, however you want us. We use the term foreman. And it was an unfortunate passing of a young man that's 27 years old. It puts a serious hole in our company. And the outpouring from the communities and the people that he touched, from as far as north of Albany out to Long Island, and the departments that came to the funeral, it was an overwhelming response to just show you just the type of family he came from and the type of person he was. He had a very infectious smile. Any picture you've seen posted of him, I think, on Facebook, the smile was there. Just a very unfortunate thing. And like I said, it's left a big hole in our company. And I don't know what else to say, because it starts to get to me, as I'm talking. He's gone and he will be missed.
I'd like to say something about Andrew. I knew him, his brother. They were fixtures in our community. My oldest son went to school with them. They were friends, and this is a sad thing to have to do. And my condolences go out to the Pankin family.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Fire Department appointment, Hollow Host Company number 5. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the Fire Chief, Angel Perez, New York, was elected an active member of the Hollow Hose Company number 5 for interior firefighting. Do I have a motion?
So move.
So moved.
That would be a second, right?
Yes, correct. That'll be a second for Trustee Fritchie.
Yeah.
Any comments? Nothing. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Fire Department appointment, Austining Hose Company, number 1, resolved that upon recommendation of the Fire Chief, Lisette Ramos, Austining, New York, was elected an active member of the Austining Hose Company, number 1, for interior firefighting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the board?
I'd like to say something. I see we have 2 women who are have been are now interior firefighters. Am I right, Bob? We're gonna have, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they basically when you, do you hear me? Then they're voted in as an interior member via their physical to come to us. They can be voted into the company, and then they come in as, you know, prospective interior firefighters. And when they take their physical, then that comes to us. That's when it comes to the board. So then what happens from there is they end up getting enrolled into the firefighter 1 class, which then is a very long and grueling state course that's given down at the county. And once they graduate that, then they're officially certified interior firefighter.
Well, good for them.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Fire Department appointment, Austining Hose Company number 1, resolved that upon recommendation of the Fire Chief, Shailene Vitale, Austining, New York, was elected an active member of the Austining Hose Company number 1 for interior firefighting. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
So moved.
Comments from the board? I think you're on delay, Bob.
I know.
It's okay. It adds a little something to our meeting. Any comments from the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Okay. Is there any continuing business of the board?
I'm not aware of any, but I'm looking around. Anyone?
No. Okay. Going on to new business of the board, authorizing the village manager to sign an intermunicipal agreement with Westchester County for mutual aid and rapid response. Resolved that the village manager is authorized to sign an intermunicipal agreement with the County of Westchester for the village's participation in the mutual aid and rapid response plan for the Police Department of Westchester County, and be it further resolved that the term of the intermunicipal agreement will be from July 31st, 2020 until July 30th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments on the board? Chief, do you want to say anything about this? I think you brought this forth.
Yeah, no, this is just a standard agreement that has been around for decades that governs the rules for requesting aid from other municipalities, and likewise our responsibility to provide aid in the event of a critical incident.
So I had seen this, and I have not seen this before, and it's possible that it happened right before I started in my 5 years. You know, I was saying to Manny earlier tonight that every day I learned something new. I knew that this was happening. I don't think I ever focused about all the work that gets done. We have lots of municipalities. In fact, Austining has 2. It has a village and it has a town. We have taxing municipalities. There's a lot of that stuff. So I think the public should know that the police officers have really developed a way of working together that is best for all communities involved. You know, that they help each other when they need help. And I think for me, it makes me sleep better at night, because something happens and some police units have something that others don't. It's a coordinated effort. It's not like we all live on islands. On the contrary, we all live in a very interlocked environment. So I never really focused on it, but I think the public should know that This has been going on for years. It continues to go on. It's one of those things that goes on and we sort of never see it. But there's a lot of work involved, and I think it's a great thing for all of our safety and security. So just wanted to bring it, float it up a little bit, because the next time we'll hear about it is probably in 5 years. So I think it's great that you guys do this. I think it's great. I don't know if that's all over the country and all over the state, but it certainly is good to know that it's going on in our communities. So thank you for that. Anybody else have any comments on the board? Not seeing any.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, okay. Moving on to visitor recognition. Is there anybody here from the public that would like to address to the board?
Not seeing any here.
No one has their hands raised.
I don't see anybody. Nope. Okay.
Okay, in that regard, then I will need a motion for adjournment into executive session.
And it will be executive session for matters of personnel and issues relating to real property.
So moved.
Second.
Comments? Don't think so. The vote?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And with that, folks, I think, unless somebody corrects me, we have completed the first of our sessions in 2021. Thank you all for your patience in waiting for technology on my end to be working fine. I try to get fancy and I have multiple screens here, and that messed me up quite a bit, as you all noticed. Thank you, everybody. And we're going to move on to the next session. We'll see everybody next Wednesday for a work session. Good night.
Good night.
I don't have a gavel, so I'm just going to say good night.